Hello, everybody, and a warm welcome along to SportsBet TV with me, Paul Alster, as I look ahead to what's likely to be a very unsettled weekend weather-wise, but some excellent racing coming our way, both at Sandown and Aintree principally, but also some good racing elsewhere. I'm going to be focusing on two races for you for Saturday afternoon, and they both take place at Aintree. This service is all about trying to find horses at good each way prices. And if you're new to the channel, then just press the subscribe button below the screen. Then, of course, you'll be able to follow my thoughts on the races and do with them as you wish to consider and follow, or to take them on board, but choose to do something of your own or go with your own intuition. Well, last week I gave the one selection. That was in, of course, a very tough race over at Newbury in the old Hennessy Gold Cup. And that was in the expectation of heavy rain that had been forecast, but it didn't materialise. Nonetheless, Intense Raffles ran well for a very long way before being outpaced really from three out. The rain would have made a big difference to his chance. It didn't come, but it will come at some point this season. And I'm convinced that this horse still has it in him to win a big race this season, maybe even the Grand National. Now, I've got two recommendations for you for Saturday. Meanwhile, over at my subscription service at Out in Front, where we've had a tremendous November, I will be offering four selections on Saturday. There are also a couple on Friday, and there'll be some as well on Sunday this weekend. So, a very busy weekend. If you fancy signing up without any tie ins, you can find the link to join the subscribers, and that is found in the description box just below this screen. Anyway, without further ado, two selections for you on Saturday. Now, the first is in the Aintree 240. It's the 3.25 mile Becher Chase. This, of course, in many ways, a bit of a taster for the Grand National coming up in April. We're expecting soft ground, and indeed, the 13 runners are probably going to need plenty of stamina because, judging by the weather cams that I've been looking at this afternoon, Thursday afternoon, placed at various points around the city of Liverpool in an attempt to try and determine just how wet it actually is. There's been plenty of rain on Merseyside from what I can see, and that is going to be manna from heaven for the top weight and the likely favourite for the race, the admirable Mr. Van Gogh, trained by Sarah Bradstock. Now, I actually think that he will be a very tough nut to crack if taken to the fences in testing ground, because he's a proper staying chaser, as he showed last term. What a season he had! He won the London National at Sandown, then the Peter Marsh Chase at Haydock, and he wrapped it up by winning the Midlands National, no less, over 4.25 miles at Uttoxeter. He is, however, £9 higher now than he was at Uttoxeter, so it's not a formality. But Mr. Van Gogh having his first run this season, so is he going to be fully tuned up, given the fact that he's talked of by many as a potential Grand National favourite? He'll go well, but is he going to be at the peak of his powers on Saturday? We shall see. Now, this is a handicap, though, and sometimes carrying lumps of weight, as Mr. Van Gogh has to do, can eventually catch even good horses out. Now, Gaborio, trained by the team of Oliver Greenall and Josh Guerrero, is going to receive £26 from Mr. Van Gogh. Might not sound like a huge amount of weight, but if you imagine 13 bags of sugar, then that's a lot of weight. And that's the difference between what's going to be on the back of Mr. Van Gogh and what's going to be on the back of Gaborio. And Gaborio has already proven over the national fences, having finished third and second in the last two renewals of the Grand Sefton Chase over a little bit shorter. He should go well off his featherweight, and his stable companion, beautiful looking horse called White Rhino, also has solid claims on the pick of his form. Both have their stamina, though, to prove, but they do give their handlers a strong hand. Now, Val Dancer for Mel Rowley was the winner of last season's Welsh National over 3.75 miles, and he would have to be feared if he takes to this new challenge and the unique fences, because the ground cannot be soft enough for him. He loves the mud, so his connections will doubtless be hoping the rain continues to fall at Aintree. And Bill Baxter for Warren Greatrex, he won the 2023 Topham Trophy over these fences, but he got no further than the third fence in his bid to repeat the feat here this April. He won a listed handicap chase at the Punchestown Festival, though, in April, and was a good runner-up at Newbury last month over hurdles. He's in form, and so is trainer Warren Greatrex. Excello, trained by Nicky Henderson, was third in the Grand Sefton last month behind Gaborio, but that was on a sounder surface, and I have concerns about his stamina for this trip in the deeper ground. While the Irish mare Bioluminescence for Gavin Cromwell was a solid third in a 2-mile 5-furlong listed chase last month at Clonmel, but as I'm sure many of you know, the yard of Gavin Cromwell hasn't been in great form of late, and that rather dims any enthusiasm for her chance. And that's a comment that also applies to John Joe and A.J. O'Neill's decent sort Mombeg Genius, who at his best will be a serious contender, but the stable has been under a big cloud of late. Now, for my selection, I'm going to a horse at a big price. His name is Wamage, and he's trained by Patrick Griffin and is the mount of James Reevely pictured together. Now, this horse loves the Aintree fences, and he has finished in the top 10 in 2 Grand Nationals. He jumps these fences brilliantly. You may remember it was a bit of a social media viral video that Felix de Giles, his jockey, on a previous occasion, famously was patting him down the neck in the middle of the Grand National. He was so overwhelmed at the superb series of jumps that Wamage produced on his way round here. So, despite him being 13 years old now, he does seem as good as ever, judging on his latest win, which came in deep ground over 3 3/4 miles in a listed chase in France in September. Given his love for the course and the fences, and given the fact that he's ideally suited by very testing ground, the more rain, the better for Wamage. And he's got James Reevely on board, who's an outstanding rider, the grandson of the great trainer Mary Reevely of years gone by. And James Reevely is based in France, comes over here only occasionally. The fact he's coming over for this, I think, is interesting. And this horse, Wamage, is 33 to 1 each way for 4 places, with most big firms at the time of this recording on early Thursday evening. To my second selection for you for Saturday, we're staying at Aintree. Their finale, the 3:15, is a 2.5-mile handicap hurdle. They're saying the going is going to be good to soft in places on the mile may cause 10 run. It may well be a little bit more testing. Now, they've opened up on Thursday afternoon, offering 5 to 1 the field in a 10-runner race. And that tells you just about all you need to know about this contest. It is genuinely wide open. The hat-trick-seeking Bear Market has his second outing for Mel Rowley, having made a winning reappearance when scoring on handicap debut at Southwell last month. He's gone up £6 for that, so we will learn about the horse on Saturday in this better race. Rambo T for Ollie Murphy, a trainer having a wonderful season, has also won first time out this term. He stayed on determinedly to get up close home to win the valuable Silford Trophy at Chepstow. He's also gone up £6, but he's already been the subject of market support on Thursday, and that suggests that his very shrewd connections think he's going to be competitive once again. Wellington Arch is trained by John Joe and A.J. O'Neill, and he had a fine campaign in the 24-25 season, highlighted by his Grade 3 course and distance success at the Grand National meeting in April, after which he ended the campaign with an excellent third at the Punchestown Festival in a listed handicap hurdle. His yard closed for a short time earlier this month due to the horses being under a cloud. And at the time of this broadcast, they still have not had a winner. If they have turned the corner by Saturday afternoon and they're out of the woods and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, then Wellington Arch would certainly come very much into the equation, given his liking for the track. The Scottish Challenger's cracking Rhapsody for Ewan Willans won both the Scottish champion hurdle at Ayr and the Moor Battle hurdle at Kelso last season. He was a real money spinner. At his best, he's a serious handicapper and will likely be fitter for his seasonal return in the Greatwood hurdle at Cheltenham a few weeks ago. He's very much respected, as too is Neil King's Rubber Ball, also down the field in the Greatwood last time, but expected to have come on plenty for that first run of the season. My selection, though, in this 3:15 at Aintree, well, he was runner-up to the smart Wood Who in the Martin Pipe conditional jockey's handicap hurdle at last season's Cheltenham Festival. So Act of Authority is my choice here, trained by Ollie Murphy and the mount of Lewis Saunders, who's a capable conditional rider claiming £5. An Act of Authority ran a highly satisfactory first race of the season when he was fourth over 3 miles at Newbury last month. He stays well, but this trip in testing ground looks about right for him, and with his rider's claim, he's going to run off a nice weight of 11 stone 2. Act of Authority is my choice, and at the time of this recording, he's offered at 6-1 each way with Paddy Power, with Bet365, and also with William Hill. So those are my two selections here at SportsBet. A reminder, if you're interested in more selections and to follow me at Out in Front, the link to sign up is in the description box just below this screen. But whenever you're back in this weekend, I wish you the very best of luck. And I hope one way or another, many of us manage to beat the bookies this weekend. Bye for now.